Everybody, Jackie here along with Michelle Lou, who mentioned he is going live on location for a very fun event happening later on this morning. Some more details on that coming up with Rocket Prevention and a very special golf outing. Right now we want to talk about another very special organization. Yes, with a fantastic mascot this morning as well, named Betty. Hi Betty, you got to show everyone at home your beautiful face, not just us, but you look gorgeous, dear. But we want to introduce you to the Taysia Blue Husky and Malamute Rescue, and we do have the founder, Jackie Roach, over by Michelle with beautiful dog Betty there, and as well as the volunteer Iowa team lead, that's Erica Hellmich. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
We have some things to talk about when it comes to this rescue operation, and when it comes to these gorgeous animals, because everyone sees that face, they see all that fluff, and they're like, I have to have one of these in my home. But there's some things you need to think about before that happens.
There absolutely are. We've noticed about a 60% increase in the number of requests for help at the rescue, and I think a lot of that, the dogs are high. I know, and it's sad. These dogs are so beautiful, and I think people see them on TV, they see them in pop culture and media and movies, and they want to have one.
Absolutely.
And of course, they're so adorable and they're beautiful. But they shed a lot.
Okay.
Talk about, share some of the things people aren't thinking about when.
Absolutely. So, you know, I vacuum twice a day. I mean, it's
that much hair.
There's that much hair.
Okay.
They're constantly shedding. They have super high energy, so they need to be stimulated mentally and physically. So you have to get out and walk them, and you have to play games with them and work on training. And you know, they have a very high drive, and you know, they want to do things. They can be bored if they're not mentally stimulated, and they've been known to find projects to do around the house if you're not around.
That aren't necessarily good projects to do, right?
Yeah, you know, some drywall repair.
Oh, wow.
Taking apart.
Some big projects.
I think people get these dogs and they think they're, you know, because they're cute and they're adorable, and then they find out they're in over their heads and they need help. And it's kind of sad for us as a rescue to not be able to help everyone that comes to us, but we have a very lengthy waiting list, and
you do?
Yes.
Okay.
It's about 14 or 15 deep, and Betty, come back. I know.
So, and because of that, you're in search of, you need volunteers, help, and you actually, it says you don't actually have a facility that you work out of.
That's right.
That all of these are in volunteer homes.
Yes.
Correct?
All the dogs are in volunteer foster homes, which is great. So if you wanted to come and adopt a dog from us, we can tell you, you know, this is how Betty signals to go out, you know, this is what she, you know, this is her routine, this is how she reacts to this, which is wonderful.
Yeah, because they're getting to see them in a home environment,
absolutely.
Which is nice.
But, you know, when we get requests, if we don't have an available foster home, we are not able to help.
So you're looking for people that are wanting to adopt, obviously that knows what it takes to have an animal like this in their home and part of their life, but you also are looking for families that are just wanting to help. Because you do have that lengthy waiting list of just getting some assistance. Yes,
most definitely. And Erica can probably talk a little bit about what we're trying to do here in Iowa, but it's not just foster homes. I think, you know, help completing adoptions and help doing transport and taking dogs to vet appointments and that sort of thing is also things that she can use some help with.
Absolutely, and being the volunteer Iowa team lead, I'm sure you're organizing quite a bit of this. So if we say we want to volunteer, we see this gorgeous animal and we say we want to give back, what are ways that we can do so?
There's a lot of different ways. Fostering is one of them. As Jackie mentioned, also helping out with adoptions. So we're needing adoption counselors here in central Iowa, along with transport, volunteers to just work events that we have. Along with just walking the dogs, spending time with the dogs. Really, if you want to be involved, we'll find a way to get you involved. So we'll take anyone and everyone.
So just spending time with this beautiful creature and this beautiful face is a way of giving back, and you're helping with this situation that is at hand.
Yep. By just spending time with the dog, that's getting, you know, some enrichment, some socialization with them. You know, getting them to know that they can trust other people than just their foster family. That the goal is not for them to stay with the foster family. So it's helping them have those skills to get into their forever home and be successful.
And be adopted. And we always encourage people that if you are going to be adopting or wanting a pet in your home, that you adopt from a shelter and not just go to a pet store, because obviously you're going to have a lot more information of how that dog reacts and what their life is like that you can take into your home when you do adopt. But let's talk about Betty's story here this morning, because it's kind of an interesting one as well.
It's very interesting. Betty has actually, she is my personal dog, but she came through the rescue. She was in a really horrific situation. She was one of about almost 200 Malamutes that were rescued off of I'll call it a puppy mill hoarding situation that was really bad. The dogs were very malnourished. Betty weighs about 42 pounds. She should be about 80 pounds. And so that's part of her challenge from birth. Her mother was malnourished and she was very malnourished, and we have trouble keeping weight on her.
So even right now, she's below weight.
She's way below weight, and she has a special condition called megaesophagus, which adds to some challenges for her. It doesn't allow for her food to get where it needs to go and for her to retain the nutrients. The only surviving litter mate with Betty also had the same condition. So it was just a really horrific situation, and that's not, it's not common that, there is a cruelty raid where there's 200 dogs confiscated, but we still read about it far too often, and that's where Betty came from.
And Betty's not up for adoption.
Betty is not up for adoption.
But you do have some others that you would like to kind of feature and talk about that are currently up for adoption.
We have some wonderful kids up for adoption, and some right here in Central Iowa. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Do you want to talk about Blanche, Erica?
Yeah,
I think we have some images that we can show so that we can talk about wonderful animals that are available.
Yes. So this is Blanche. Blanche is a Malamute mix. She's around 7 years old. She is a big, big girl. She's probably about 120 pounds.
Wow.
She is adorable and super sweet. She loves to cuddle with the people that she knows and she trusts. She does have some pretty high anxiety that we don't know her history, but she is not sure that her family is going to come back to her when they leave the house. So she does have some challenges, but she is a big, giant love bug, and she's here in Central Iowa.
Oh, wonderful. Do we have any other images that we can show? There we go.
Oh, I want to tell this story. So this particular dog is fostering in Omaha, Nebraska, but this little guy, this is a picture of him in Texas, and he was chained along with another friend of his, and then they were abandoned and left on the chain without any food or water in the hot Texas sun. And a good Samaritan came to help him and brought him to safety and contacted us, and we were able to bring him into rescue, and he is now available for adoption.
Wow, that's a completely different dog.
I know, and that's only been a few months. He like Blanche has a few.
So that's Coda now.
That's Coda now. Yes, and isn't he he's happy and he's lovable. He still has some issues with his back hips, and he still is working on getting healthy, but he deserves a forever home. He won't be an easy dog for us to place. He has he can't go very long without having to go out to go potty, and so he really needs somebody that can
be there for him.
Almost like Blanche, who has some issues when her people leave. So those two are two of our harder dogs to place. Coda's also a Malamute. He is at 90 pounds now. He came to us, I think he was around 60 pounds. And he should be over 100, but he's getting there. He looks pretty good right now.
You say he looks
very happy.
Yeah, he does. Let's talk about the story of Sean.
Oh, yes. Sean came to us, and this is kind of typical of how some of the dogs that come to us from some of the more rural shelters, not necessarily from any of the metro areas, but Sean just really was in need of some definite care. I came upon him in a shelter and immediately wanted to take care of him. He has some issues going on with his skin, so he's getting some treatment for that and some special baths. And he's very thin, but he's very lovable. But this is kind of what some of these kids look like when they come to us. And I think we have
And after, yeah.
An after photo.
Oh, look.
And you know, this is just a week later.
Wow, what a difference.
What a difference it makes just to have a little love and some nutrition and a bath and some care.
Which you're able to provide if you have a home that can take in one of these wonderful animals, or as we said, if you'd like to volunteer and make sure these dogs have a wonderful life. Wyatt is another one I think we can take a peek at and have a story for. Look at a beautiful
Erica,
face.
do you want to
Wyatt.
get him? Yeah.
Oh man, Wyatt, I love this boy. He is a husky mix of some sort. He's middle-aged. He has some fear of other dogs. Probably something happened to him in his past where he didn't have a good experience with another dog, and so he is fearful of other dogs and also of people at first. He takes a little time to get to trust you, but once he does, he's amazing. So Wyatt actually needs to be an only dog. So we're looking for a home that doesn't have any other animals in the home for him.
So when somebody signs up, say they're interested in becoming a foster home, what exactly do they need to think about? Like, are they there for a long time until they're adopted, or how does that work?
We ask that somebody fosters the dog until we find a forever home, but we know that sometimes we may place the dog with somebody and it might not be the right situation, and so we ask that they be flexible because we might need to move some dogs around. We try to work with the foster. If somebody has, I can give you 2 weeks, or I can be a weekend foster, or I could help when somebody goes on vacation, we can work with that. Mm-hmm. If someone says, yes, I want to foster a dog, then a lot of times we'll just continue to bring in new dogs to their home. So the help is definitely needed, and especially in the summertime when people go on vacations, we just need sometimes some temporary respite for somebody who's going out of town and going on vacation. I think Blanche and Wyatt both mm-hmm. had to get transported to Omaha to go to a boarding kennel while their fosters were on vacation because we didn't have someplace else for them to go.
Plenty of help is needed for Taysia Blue.
Yeah, and obviously a wonderful organization, and find out if one of these wonderful animals should be a part of your life or if you would just like to give back in a big way. TaysiaBlue.com for all of those details. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us
today
Betty. And spreading a beautiful, wonderful message about our Malamute and Huskies. They're absolutely gorgeous. So you're watching CWI Live here on Channel 23.